My name is Callista, 41 years old, Austin, Texas. If you ask the world who I am, they'll probably say, she's the woman behind EcoNest. But if you ask me who I am right now, I'd say, a ghost of myself, watching my own dreams stolen in broad daylight. I remember the night it all began. The soft hum of downtown Austin, the glow of neon signs reflected on wet pavement after an evening storm. I was sitting in the back of a crowded bar, laptop open, watching the live stream of a tech conference where my partner, Lily, was presenting. The pitch sounded familiar. Too familiar. She stood there in her polished white suit, hair tied back, voice steady as she explained our vision: eco-friendly modular homes powered by recycled materials and smart solar grids. The words cut into me like knives because they weren't just hers. They were mine. My sketches, my research, my years of sacrifice. I whispered under my breath, she's reading my soul out loud, and no one even knows it. Around me, people clapped at the screen. Someone even said, she's brilliant. And I sat frozen, hands trembling on the keyboard, my glass of whiskey untouched. I had met Lily 2 years earlier. She was 10 years younger, bright-eyed, eager, calling me her mentor. I believed in her. I trusted her. I thought we were partners. I handed her pieces of myself in late-night brainstorm sessions, napkin sketches in coffee shops, endless documents on Google Drive. I never thought she would weaponize my generosity. But that night, watching her bask in applause while investors leaned forward with hungry eyes, I realized something chilling. I had been erased. The betrayal didn't feel sudden. It felt surgical, like she had been carving pieces out of me for months, quietly, methodically, until there was almost nothing left. I thought of the nights I stayed awake, tinkering with prototypes while she slept, the times I missed family birthdays, friends' weddings, even my own health, all for this dream. And now, it belonged to her. Tears blurred my vision, but I blinked them away. Crying in public wasn't my style. Instead, I sat there and let the rage simmer, burning hotter than the whiskey in front of me. The humiliation hit me the hardest later, the whispers. You know Lily? She's the new face of green innovation. And when I tried to explain that the ideas were mine, people smiled politely, like you'd smile at an aging woman desperate not to fade away. They said, Callista, maybe it's time to step back. You had a good run. Too old, too irrelevant, too late. Those words haunted me at night. I'd lie in bed, staring at the ceiling fan, hearing them over and over until they became a cruel lullaby. One evening, I scrolled through Lily's Instagram. She had just posted a photo, standing in front of a gleaming office with the caption, "The future belongs to the bold." The likes rolled in, the comments praised her, and something inside me snapped. If she wanted bold, I'd show her bold. If she wanted to erase me, I'd carve my name so deep into the story she'd never escape it. I didn't know exactly how yet, but I knew this. I wouldn't just take her down privately, I'd do it in front of the entire world. And that was the night I opened a blank document on my laptop, typing the first words of a plan that would become my obsession. But as my fingers hovered over the keyboard, my phone buzzed with a message, one that would change everything. It was from an unknown number. 4 words glowed on the screen. I know the truth. The message glowed on my phone. I know the truth. My first instinct was suspicion. Maybe it was spam. Maybe it was Lily herself playing with my head. But then a second text came. Meet me tomorrow, 8 p.m. South Congress Bridge. I can prove she stole everything. My heart pounded. South Congress Bridge. The place where bats poured out every night at sunset. It felt theatrical, almost like a spy movie, but I couldn't ignore it. I had nothing left to lose. The next evening, I walked along the bridge, the city lights shimmering on the Colorado River below. My heels clicked against the concrete, each step echoing my doubt. A figure leaned against the railing, hood pulled low. When they looked up, I froze. It was Mason, an investor I remembered from our early pitch meetings. One of the few who'd shown interest in EcoNest before Lily pushed me aside. Callista, he said, voice calm but urgent. You're not crazy. Everyone thinks Lily's the visionary, but I know whose work this really is. My throat tightened. Then why didn't you say something? He glanced around, lowering his voice. Because she's dangerous. She's already cut deals with people who won't hesitate to bury anyone in their way. But I kept records, emails, voice memos. She bragged about stealing your work. His words landed like lightning. Proof, evidence, a chance to fight back. But trust was not easy for me anymore. I crossed my arms. Why are you helping me? Mason's eyes met mine. Because I hate parasites. And because, once upon a time, I believed in you. Silence stretched between us, filled by the distant sound of bats fluttering into the night sky. For the first time in months, hope flickered inside me. He handed me a small flash drive. This is just the beginning, enough to start your fire. But if you want the rest, you'll have to go public, loud, viral. I gripped the drive, its cold metal biting my palm. My revenge wasn't just an idea anymore. It had a shape, a weapon. But then Mason leaned closer and whispered, "Be careful. Lily isn't working alone." Before I could ask more, headlights swept across the bridge. A sleek black car slowed down, tinted windows glinting. Mason's expression shifted instantly from calm to alarm. "Go!" he hissed. "They followed me." The car door cracked open. A figure stepped out. And in that second, my world tilted. Because I recognized the silhouette. It wasn't just one enemy I was facing. It was someone I once trusted with my life. The car door creaked open. My breath caught in my throat. The figure stepped into the glow of the bridge lights. And my world collapsed. It was Adrian, my ex-husband. The man who once swore to love me until the end of time, and the same man who walked away when my startup consumed me. Now he was standing beside Lily's people. "Adrian?" My voice cracked, raw with disbelief. "What are you doing here?" His smirk was cold, foreign. "Funny, Callista. You always said your ideas were your children. Well, you were never a good mother. Lily knows how to raise them." The words sliced deeper than any knife. He didn't just abandon me, he had joined her. Mason grabbed my arm, whispering, "We need to move, now!" But Adrian's voice rang out loud across the bridge. "Callista, you never understood the game. Innovation isn't about passion, it's about control. And Lily, she's already won." Two men stepped out of the car behind him, broad-shouldered, eyes hard, hired muscle. My pulse raced. I backed away, my heels slipping on the damp concrete. "You stole everything from me," I said, voice shaking but fierce. Adrian chuckled. "No, you gave it away. All those nights obsessing, all the neglect, all the arrogance. You made it easy." Mason pulled me toward the stairwell at the end of the bridge. "We don't have time. Run!" We bolted, the pounding of our footsteps drowned out by the roar of traffic overhead. Behind us, shouts erupted. Mason shoved the flash drive into my hand as we reached the base of the bridge. "Guard this with your life. They'll kill to get it back." Headlights swept the street below. Tires screeched. Another car pulled up fast, blocking our path. Panic clawed at my chest. Mason scanned the shadows, then pointed toward the riverbank. "This way!" We sprinted down the embankment, mud soaking my shoes, the metallic taste of fear sharp in my mouth. At the water's edge, I turned back. Adrian stood at the top of the hill, silhouetted by the city lights, watching us with that same smug smile. He raised his phone, snapping a picture. My blood ran cold. He wasn't just trying to stop me. He was documenting me, tracking me, turning me into the story he wanted the world to see. Desperate, unhinged, irrelevant. The truth was in my hands, but the narrative was already slipping into his. We reached the riverbank, chest heaving, lungs burning. Mason gripped my shoulders. "This is war now, Callista. You need to decide, hide or fight." I looked down at the flash drive, clenched tight in my fist, and for the first time, I felt the weight of destiny pressing into my skin. I lifted my head and whispered, "Then we fight." But before Mason could answer, a gunshot cracked through the night. The gunshot split the night air. My body flinched, instinctively ducking. For a moment, I couldn't tell if the pain in my chest was a bullet or pure terror. "Mason!" I gasped, searching. He stumbled beside me, hand pressed against his arm. Blood seeped through his sleeve. Not fatal. Not yet. But bad enough. "They're closing in," he hissed. "We have to move." Shouts echoed from the bridge above. More footsteps. More danger. I gripped the flash drive so tightly, my knuckles turned white. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs felt like concrete. Adrian's voice carried through the night. Calm, confident. "Callista, stop fighting. You're embarrassing yourself. Hand over what doesn't belong to you." His words slithered into my ears like poison. I clenched my jaw. It does belong to me. Mason pulled me down a narrow path along the riverbank. "There's a safe house near Rainy Street," he muttered, breath ragged. "We can hide, regroup." I nodded, adrenaline kicking in, dragging him forward as best I could. My shoes were soaked, mud splattering my legs. Every shadow looked like a predator waiting to pounce. Behind us, tires screeched. A second car had joined the chase. We darted into a side street, neon lights from a dive bar flickering above. The smell of fried food and beer mixed with the metallic tang of Mason's blood. "Inside," he urged. We slipped into the bar, blending with the noise of laughter, clinking glasses, and a band playing off-key country tunes. Nobody paid attention to two disheveled strangers sliding into a booth. For a moment, the chaos outside felt like a different universe, but I knew it wouldn't last. Mason slid the flash drive across the table to me. His hand trembled. "This isn't safe with me anymore. If they catch me, I'm done. You're the one who has to finish this." I stared at him, heart thundering. The weight of the drive felt heavier now, like it carried not just data, but blood. "What's on here?" I whispered. He met my gaze. "Enough to burn her empire to ash." Before I could ask more, my phone buzzed. A new message, same unknown number as before. This time it said, "Don't trust Mason." My stomach dropped. The bar's neon lights blurred around me, dizzying. Mason was sitting across from me, wounded, vulnerable. But was he truly my ally? Or another trap? I swallowed hard, hiding the phone under the table. And then I forced a smile at him, though my heart screamed in confusion. If the text was true, I wasn't just fighting Lily and Adrian. I might be sitting across from another traitor. The neon sign above our booth flickered, painting Mason's face in jagged flashes of red and blue. His sleeve was soaked with blood, but his eyes were steady. Yet the message burned in my mind. Don't trust Mason. I forced myself to breathe evenly. If I showed doubt now, he'd see it. And if the message was right, I couldn't let him know I knew. "Callista," he said, voice hushed under the noise of the bar. "We can't stay here long. You need to start your campaign now. Get this drive online. Expose her before she buries you completely." I studied him, pretending to nod. Inside, my thoughts spiraled. Why push so fast? Why now? Was he trying to save me or set me up? I leaned forward, lowering my voice. "Mason, if I'm going to do this, I need more than just this drive. I need leverage, investors, allies, proof they can't dismiss." His brow furrowed. "That's risky. The more people you involve, the more danger." "Danger," I tilted my head, "or exposure." For a fraction of a second, his expression hardened. Just a flicker, but enough to make my pulse spike. The bartender dropped 2 glasses of water at our table. Mason winced, gripping his arm tighter. "You don't have much time. Lily and Adrian already control the narrative. If you want your truth heard, you have to go nuclear." I sipped the water, masking my suspicion. Nuclear. It sounded less like advice and more like an order. I pulled out my phone, scrolling. "Fine, let's start with a teaser, something small, just enough to rattle her." My fingers hovered over the screen. I typed, "What if the new face of green innovation isn't as pure as she claims? Chaka EcoNest truth. Stolen ideas." I paused, then looked up at Mason. "Should I post it?" He leaned in. "Do it." His urgency was sharp, almost desperate. And that was my answer. A man truly on my side would have told me to wait, to plan carefully, not shove me off the cliff. I smiled faintly, locking my phone instead of posting. "Maybe later," I said. "Timing is everything." His jaw tightened, but he nodded. In that moment, I knew. I couldn't trust him completely. Not yet. Before either of us could speak again, the bar's door swung open. A gust of night air carried in heavy footsteps. 2 men in black jackets scanned the room. Their eyes landed on us instantly. Mason cursed under his breath. They found us. He reached for my hand, pulling me toward the back exit. My mind raced, torn between two dangers, the men closing in and the man leading me out. As we burst into the alley, rain slicking the pavement under dim streetlights, I clutched the flash drive against my chest. One truth rang clear in my head. If I wanted revenge, I'd have to walk through fire, alone if I had to. And just as I thought it, headlights flared at the end of the alley. A familiar silhouette stepped out of the car. Lily. The rain-slicked alley glowed under Lily's headlights. She stepped out slowly, heels clicking on wet pavement, her white suit immaculate despite the storm. "Callista," she said, voice smooth as glass. "Still chasing ghosts, I see." Mason tensed beside me, his body ready to spring. But I raised a hand. This was my fight. Her eyes flicked to the flash drive I clutched. A smirk curved her lips. "You really think that little toy will save you? You've always been naive. Visionary, yes, but weak. That's why I'm the face of EcoNest now, not you." Anger surged through me, but I forced a smile. Funny, because behind every face, there's always a shadow, and that shadow always talks back eventually. Her smile faltered just a fraction. Behind her, the men in black jackets fanned out, blocking the alley exit. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. "Give it up," Lily said. "You can't win. Adrian knows it. The investors know it. Even Mason knows it." I glanced at Mason. His jaw tightened, eyes unreadable. The words, "Don't trust Mason," echoed in my head, louder than ever. "You're wrong," I said, stepping forward despite the fear crawling up my spine. "I can win, not with money, not with muscle, but with truth." Lily laughed, a sharp, cruel sound that bounced off the brick walls. "Truth? People don't want truth, Callista. They want a story, and I already own it." The rain intensified, drumming against the pavement like war drums. I raised the flash drive between two fingers. "Then let's rewrite the story." Her eyes darkened. "Careful. One wrong move and you'll disappear before sunrise." For the first time, I saw the mask slip. Beneath the polished smile was fear. She knew I had something real. Mason leaned in close, whispering so only I could hear. "If we run now, we can disappear. Start fresh somewhere else." My breath caught. Run, disappear, or stand and fight? I turned toward him, searching his face for truth. But before I could decide, one of Lily's men pulled a gun and leveled it at me. The metallic click echoed louder than the rain. The barrel of the gun gleamed under the neon haze. For a heartbeat, the world slowed. The rain, the hum of the city, even my pulse. Then Mason shoved me sideways. The gun went off, the blast ripping through the night. Brick dust showered from the wall where my head had been a second earlier. I hit the ground hard, clutching the flash drive to my chest. Mason lunged at the gunman, slamming his injured shoulder into him. Both men crashed into the mud. "Run, Callista!" Mason shouted. But I couldn't. My body screamed to flee, yet my mind screamed louder. If I run now, I lose everything. Lily's voice cut through the chaos. Calm, controlled, cruel. "Don't kill her, not yet. We need the drive intact." Her words jolted me. This wasn't just about silencing me. She needed what I had. That meant leverage. That meant time. I scrambled to my feet, adrenaline burning hot. Another man moved toward me, reaching. I swung the nearest thing I could grab, a broken beer bottle from the ground. The glass sliced his arm, buying me a second. His roar echoed off the alley walls. Mason kicked the gun free, sliding it across the wet pavement. It stopped near my feet. I stared at it. The weapon gleamed, heavy with choices. If I picked it up, there'd be no turning back. Lily's eyes locked on mine. "Go ahead, pull the trigger. Show the world how desperate you've become." Her voice was honey laced with venom. She wanted me to lose control. My hand hovered over the gun. Every instinct screamed yes. Every memory of betrayal urged me to take the shot. But another voice whispered inside me. The same voice that had built EcoNest from scraps and sweat. "Don't give her the ending she wants. Write your own." I left the gun where it was. Instead, I snatched Mason by the collar and yanked him toward the back gate. We stumbled into the open street. Rain poured harder, drowning out Lily's shouts behind us. Headlights swept past, a taxi slowing at the corner. I waved frantically, shoving Mason inside. As the driver pulled away, I glanced back. Lily stood in the alley, rain cascading down her white suit, her smile sharp as a blade. She raised her phone, recording me through the storm. The realization hit like ice. She wasn't chasing me anymore. She was building her narrative, painting me as the unhinged, reckless villain. The war for truth had gone public, and she was already one step ahead. The taxi sped through rain-slick streets, windshield wipers thrashing. Mason leaned against the window, pale, clutching his arm. I sat upright, flash drive burning in my palm. The echoes of Lily's laughter still rang in my ears. She wasn't chasing me with fists or bullets anymore. She was chasing me with narrative. If I didn't fight back, the world would believe her version of me, the desperate has-been. Back at my apartment, I locked the door and pulled the curtains tight. My hands trembled as I slid the flash drive into my laptop. Folders popped open, audio recordings, email chains, investor notes, time-stamped prototypes, all proof that EcoNest was mine before Lily ever touched it. And then I found something worse, a folder named Control. Inside were files outlining how Lily planned to silence whistleblowers, manipulate social media trends, even smear journalists who asked the wrong questions. My stomach knotted. She hadn't just stolen my dream, she had built an empire of lies around it. Mason groaned from the couch. We need to leak it, all of it, tonight. But the message from the unknown number still pulsed in my head. Don't trust Mason. I plugged in headphones and pretended to work while secretly copying the files onto a second encrypted drive. If Mason turned on me, I wouldn't be empty-handed. I drafted a post, fingers shaking but fast. Truth matters. EcoNest was built on stolen ideas. Evidence coming. EcoNest truth. Fight for innovation. I hit publish. The tweet went live. Within minutes, it started spreading. Retweets, comments, questions. Hope flickered in my chest. My voice was finally breaking through the static. But then my phone buzzed again. Lily had already responded. She posted a video. Clean, polished, shot in her glossy new office. Her voice was soft, dripping with false sincerity. Friends, I've been attacked by someone I once loved like family. Callista is struggling, and while I wish her healing, her accusations are false. Please don't let lies destroy progress. The comments poured in instantly. Support, sympathy, worship. And just like that, she had flipped the narrative. I stared at the screen, fury boiling. She's painting me as crazy, I whispered. Mason put a hand on my shoulder. Then you'll have to prove you're not. I looked back at the laptop. The files glowed, waiting. Proof. Ammunition. My next move had to be bold, something undeniable. I clicked open one of the recordings. Lily's voice filled my headphones crystal clear. I don't care if it's Callista's design. People only remember the face on stage. And that face is me. The air left my lungs. This was it, the smoking gun. But just as I prepared to upload it, my laptop screen flickered and went black. The laptop screen went black. My stomach dropped like a stone. No, 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 no. I slammed the keys, but nothing responded. The hard drive light blinked twice, then died. I yanked out the flash drive, my lifeline, and clutched it tight. Had I pulled it in time, or was the damage already done? Mason limped over, sweat beading his pale forehead. What happened? I spun on him, suspicion dripping from my voice. Don't act surprised. Someone hacked me. Was it you? His eyes widened. Are you kidding me? I've been bleeding out on your couch. Convenient cover, I snapped. For a second, silence stretched between us, broken only by the rain hammering the windows. He finally spoke, voice low. Lily has reach, Callista. She can shut down systems, bribe techs, buy silence. If she knew you had that recording, she'd burn your whole life just to keep it hidden. His words made sense. Too much sense. But the message still echoed. Don't trust Mason. I paced, breath shallow, the walls of my apartment closing in. My phone buzzed, a new notification. An anonymous Twitter account had posted a clip of me in the alley earlier, soaked in rain, clutching Mason, eyes wild. The caption read, Unstable woman stalks EcoNest founder, threatens violence. Thousands of views, dozens of comments calling me insane. My chest tightened. She was already spinning the footage. Lily had turned me into the villain overnight. I gripped the flash drive like a weapon. I can't wait anymore. I need to release the recording. Mason shook his head. If you drop it raw, they'll say it's fake, doctored, out of context. You need strategy, a platform that people trust. His hand reached for mine, steady, almost gentle. Callista, I'm on your side, but you have to believe me. My breath caught. The warmth of his hand felt real, too real. But the doubt clawed at me. I pulled away. Then prove it. His jaw tightened. How? Help me get in front of a live audience. No edits, no filters, no room for her spin. He hesitated. Just a fraction of a second, but I saw it. You're playing both sides, I whispered, realization crashing down. Before he could answer, my phone buzzed again. A text from the same unknown number. He's feeding her everything. I looked up at Mason. His face was pale, unreadable. Was I standing next to my ally or my executioner? The rain hammered against my apartment windows as I stared at the encrypted drive. Mason hovered near the door, restless, watching me too closely. I need air, I said, slipping the drive into my jacket. Walk with me. His eyes narrowed. Now? It's pouring. Now, I repeated. My tone left no room for argument. We stepped into the storm, streets shining with reflections of neon lights. I led him not toward safety, but toward the one place I knew I could set a trap. The abandoned train station, where security cameras still ran, their feeds patched into the city's open archive. If Mason was playing both sides, I'd catch him tonight. Oh, the station smelled of rust and damp concrete. I set my laptop on a bench, pretending to log into my files. Mason, I said softly, thank you for believing in me. His brow furrowed, surprised. I told you, I'm here to help. I slipped the second drive halfway out of my pocket, letting it glint under the weak light. Then prove it. Guard this for me, just for an hour. He froze. Just a second, but hesitation was louder than denial. Why pause? I pressed. If you're on my side, it should be easy. His jaw tightened. Because if Lily's men track us, you'll lose everything. I'm just thinking ahead. I forced a smile, but my chest ached. He's lying. Huh! Footsteps echoed at the far end of the station. Mason stiffened, his hand brushing his phone. Too quick, too practiced. I snapped my laptop shut. Don't. His eyes flickered. Don't what? Don't call her, I whispered. For a long moment, silence hung heavy between us. Then faintly, my phone buzzed. A new message from the anonymous number. He just sent your location. My heart sank. The proof was undeniable. Headlights flared through the broken station windows, cutting across the darkness. More footsteps, voices. I clutched the flash drive tighter. My trap had worked. Mason was exposed. But now, so was I. The warehouse smelled of rust and rain. I stood alone under a hanging light bulb, laptop perched on a crate, the flash drive slotted in. This was it, my stage, my gamble. The live stream was set to start in less than 10 minutes. Hundreds of people were already waiting, comments scrolling like wildfire. Journalists, activists, curious strangers. Tonight, I would show the world everything. The door groaned open. Mason walked in first, his steps uneven, eyes darting. Behind him, Lily appeared, heels clicking like gunshots. Well, Lily said, arms crossed, her white suit glowing under the harsh light. The prodigal ghost finally learned to haunt. I didn't answer. I clicked a key, and the live stream countdown appeared on the screen. 5 minutes, 23 seconds. Mason raised a hand, almost pleading. Callista, this isn't the way. If you do this, they'll destroy you. You don't know who's backing her. I met his eyes. Then tell me who's really pulling the strings. His jaw tightened, silence stretching too long. And that silence was my answer. Lily stepped closer, voice dripping venom. You think one recording changes everything? People love me. They'll call it fake. They'll call you bitter. And they'll be right. I held up the second drive I had hidden. This isn't just a recording, it's everything. Emails, prototypes, investor memos, proof that EcoNest is mine. For the first time, her mask cracked. The live stream countdown ticked. 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Mason shifted, his hand brushing his pocket. My stomach clenched. Phone? Gun? A signal? Don't, I warned, my voice sharp. Not unless you want the world to see exactly who you are. His hand froze mid-motion. His face was unreadable, but his silence screamed louder than any confession. The chat notifications pinged on my laptop. Viewers were pouring in by the thousands. Hashtags were already trending. Lily glanced at the screen, then back at me, her smile brittle. You can't control the story, Callista. Even if you win tonight, I'll bury you tomorrow. I leaned in, my voice steady. Then I guess I better win tonight. The timer hit 00:10, 9:87. The viewers waited. My enemies stood inches away. My entire life balanced on a razor's edge. And just as the live stream went live, the warehouse lights snapped off. The warehouse plunged into blackness. Gasps erupted in the live stream chat. Thousands of viewers now staring at a dark screen, waiting. My laptop still glowed faintly. The live stream was live, but all they could see was shadows. Lily, I shouted into the dark. Cutting the power won't cut the truth. A sharp laugh echoed, bouncing off the metal walls. You think they'll believe a voice in the dark? You sound insane, Callista. Perfect for my story. I slammed the laptop lid halfway, forcing its glow upward to light my face. The chat exploded with messages. It's her. What's happening? Is this real? At least now they could see me. Pale, determined, shaking but unbroken. Mason's voice came from somewhere near the door. Callista, stop this before it's too late. Too late for what? I snapped. For the truth? Or too late for you to keep feeding her my every move? The words slipped out before I could stop them. The chat froze for a second, then flooded with comments. Is he a traitor? Who's Mason? The world was listening now. Lily hissed. You don't know what you're saying. But I caught it. A tremor in her voice. I lifted the flash drive high. This isn't just proof of theft. It's proof of corruption, blackmail, and crimes you can't hide. And if anything happens to me, every file auto-uploads to the press. That was a bluff. I hadn't set up an auto-upload, but she didn't know that. The chat exploded with fire emojis, support messages, and demands. Show the evidence. Play it now. Expose her. I clicked on the recording file. Lily's voice crackled through the speakers, amplified into the warehouse, and broadcast to thousands. I don't care if it's Callista's design. People only remember the face on stage, and that face is me. The silence afterward was deafening. Lily lunged forward, but Mason caught her arm. For a second, I thought he was protecting me. But then his voice cut through the dark, cold, unfamiliar. Don't you see, Callista? We're both on her side. My blood froze. He had said it, out loud to the world. The live stream chat detonated. Betrayal! Proof! Record everything! Rage and heartbreak twisted inside me. But I forced myself to stand taller, eyes locked on the faint glow of the camera. Then let the world see what betrayal looks like, I said, my voice steady even as my chest ached. The stream caught every second. Mason's silence, Lily's fury, my resolve. But just as I reached for the second drive to reveal the rest, Mason lunged toward the laptop. The screen wavered, tilting, and then the feed cut. The screen went black. Silence crashed over the warehouse, heavier than the storm outside. No! I screamed, slamming my fists against the laptop. The chat had vanished, the thousands of voices gone. My truth, erased in an instant. Behind me, Lily laughed, sharp and triumphant. See? You'll never beat me. Not in business, not in life. You're obsolete, Callista. A relic. Rage boiled in my veins. I spun toward her. Relics don't fight back, but I do. Mason stepped closer, his face half in shadow. It's over, Callista. Stop before you get hurt. Before I get hurt? My voice cracked with fury. You've been feeding her everything, haven't you? He didn't deny it. His silence was confirmation. I backed toward the door, clutching the second flash drive hidden in my jacket pocket. They thought I was broken. They thought the fight was over. But the drive was still intact. My proof still lived. I shoved open the door, rain slapping my face, and ran into the storm. Behind me, Lily's voice sliced through the night. "Run all you want. Tomorrow you'll be nothing but a headline." I sprinted down back alleys, my breath ragged, shoes slipping in puddles. Sirens wailed in the distance, and I couldn't tell if they were for me or someone else. Every shadow felt alive. Every car that passed made me flinch. I had no allies left. But I still had the truth, and I still had a plan forming. By the time I reached the old public library, boarded up, abandoned for years, my lungs were burning. I slipped inside through a broken side door and collapsed against the dusty shelves. I pulled out my phone. No service, no Wi-Fi. Lily's reach was everywhere. But she had overlooked one thing: the city's pirate radio network, the same underground community that once supported activists, whistleblowers, truth-tellers. I knew the operator, an old friend named Roxy. She owed me. I dug into my contacts, typed a coded message, and hit send. My phone light flickered as the encrypted signal went out. If Roxy answered, I'd have one last chance to broadcast my truth, uncensored, unstoppable. The rain pounded harder, echoing through the empty library. My reflection stared back at me from a broken mirror. Wet hair plastered to my face, eyes hollow but burning. I whispered to myself, "This isn't just about revenge anymore. This is survival, and I won't let her win." Just then, the side door creaked open. I froze, holding my breath. Footsteps echoed against the tile floor. A shadow stretched long across the shelves. And then a familiar voice called out softly, "Callista, it's me." "Adrian." The library was silent except for the rain tapping the broken windows. Adrian stepped into the faint glow of my phone, his suit damp, his smile calm. Too calm. "Callista," he said softly, almost kindly. "You don't have to do this. Come home. Let it go." My fists tightened around the flash drive. "Home? You mean the home you left me to build with her?" His eyes flickered, a crack in the mask. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. Lily, she offered me a future. I was tired of being second to your obsession." The words hit like a knife. All those nights he claimed to support me, they had been lies. I stepped closer, voice trembling but fierce. "You didn't lose me to obsession, Adrian. You lost me to your own cowardice." He sighed, running a hand through his wet hair. "You don't understand. Lily isn't just a thief. She has backers, powerful ones. If you keep pushing, you'll be destroyed." "Then let me be destroyed on my own terms," I snapped. The silence between us thickened. Then his gaze dropped to my jacket pocket. "The second drive. Give it to me. I'll make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands." I laughed bitterly. "You mean Lily's hands?" His smile sharpened, no longer gentle. "Callista, if you love yourself at all, hand it over. Otherwise," he reached into his coat. Metal glinted under the weak light. I froze. Adrian, the man I once trusted with my life, was pointing a gun at me. And in the distance, through the static of my phone, a new message pinged from Roxy. "Signal received. Broadcast ready. Say the word." I looked at Adrian, at the gun, at the truth in my hand, and I realized the whole world might be listening. The gun glinted in Adrian's hand, steady, merciless. My pulse thundered in my ears, but my grip on the flash drive tightened. "Don't be foolish, Callista," he said. "Hand it over. Live." I forced a bitter smile. If living means erasing myself, I'd rather die with the truth. His jaw clenched, finger tightening on the trigger. "Ah!" I tapped my phone screen, whispering to myself, "Now." Roxy's voice crackled faintly through the static. Broadcast live. The speakers hidden in the library whined, then carried Lily's recorded confession. Her arrogance, her theft, her crimes. My voice followed, steady, clear, echoing out to the world. "This is Callista. I built EcoNest, and here is the proof they never wanted you to hear." "So," Adrian's eyes widened, "what have you done?" I stood taller, fear burning into fury. "I gave the world the story you tried to bury." He lunged toward me, but before he could fire, sirens wailed outside. Tires screeched. Flashing lights filled the broken windows. Police, journalists, protesters. The broadcast had summoned them all. Lily stormed in, face pale, rage shaking her flawless mask. "You stupid, you think this changes anything?" I met her eyes, calm now, strong. "It changes everything, because now the lie isn't hidden, it's recorded, shared, and the world will decide." The officers poured in, weapons raised. Mason slunk into the shadows, but there was nowhere left to run. Adrian dropped the gun with a hollow clang. Lily's voice cracked as the cuffs closed on her wrists. I stepped out into the rain, the weight in my chest finally lifting. Weeks later, EcoNest's name still trended, but this time with my face beside it. Not a ghost, not a relic, a fighter. I spoke to the camera one last time, my voice steady for millions watching online. Revenge isn't about rage. It's about reclaiming your name when others try to steal it. They erased me once, but I made sure the world will never forget me again. And with that, I closed the laptop. My story, finally mine.